Here is the recap of the first season of Loki. As we know from the movie Avengers Endgame, the heroes, Avengers, returned to the past in 2012 and tried to steal the tesseract. But because of an oversight, it is stolen by Loki from the past. He moves to Mongolia and again tries to enslave mankind. But then some people appear from the teleport and introduce themselves as agents of Time Variance Authority. In the future, I will call this organization TVA. They call Loki a variant, accuse him of a crime against the sacred timeline and disarm him without any problems. When Loki arrives at the TVA headquarters, he tries to escape. But since he is wearing a special collar that allows the guards to send him back in time and the fact that magic cannot be used in the TVA, he fails. The organization is huge and filled with bureaucracy. While Loki waits in the court line on the TV screen, he is told the history of the TVA. Once upon a time, there was a war in the multiverse, and the timelines fought each other for supremacy, which could have led to the end of everything. But then the Timekeepers appeared, united the multiverse into one sacred timeline, and now continue to make sure it stays the same. However, sometimes personalities appear that disrupt the proper flow of time and create a new timeline. This can lead to the formation of even more timelines and therefore to a new global war. The TVA's actual task is to find such individuals, whom they call variants, and restore the time stream by erasing this timeline with a special device. Loki is taken to the courtroom, where Judge Ravonna Renslayer condemns the hero to death. But a TVA agent named Mobius shows up and asks that Loki be put in his care to help catch a dangerous variant that tracks agents, kills them, and takes their devices that erase faulty timelines. Mobius shows Loki his near future, which would have happened if he hadn't captured that tesseract. The hero doesn't believe the agent at first and even manages to escape, but soon discovers that the TVA is so powerful that they even have infinity stones lying around like toys. Back in Mobius' office, he also learns that he will die at the hands of Thanos and will be responsible for the death of his mother. He realizes that all this time he's been craving power, that he doesn't even need, and agrees to work for TVA. Mobius tells the hero that the variant they are looking for is one of Loki's variations, and that's why he chose our Loki to figure out how to catch him. After digging through the archives, the hero guesses that the variant they are looking for is most likely hiding in places where catastrophic events are about to happen. That is, if the variable arrives at a certain point in time on the eve of some local or global apocalypse, then all its actions will not affect this timeline, because there will be no one alive, and TVA agents will not be able to detect them. The hero tells Mobius about this, and they decide to test this theory by going to Pompeii a few minutes before the catastrophe, where they are convinced that whatever they do there, it has no effect on the timeline. Upon further investigation, they guess that the variant they are looking for is hiding in the year 2050, where the biggest Strom is taking place at this time. The heroes, together with TVA agents, go there, and Loki discovers that the variant is his female copy, who calls herself Sylvia. There we learn that she has the ability to enter people's consciousness, read their minds, and even control them. She even takes control of 2 TVA agents, causing them to start remembering their past lives before TVA. But I'll talk about that later. After talking to Loki, Sylvia ignores him, activates the devices that erase the timelines she stole and sends them to different times, causing chaos in TVA, which she intends to use to kill the Timekeepers. Loki goes after her, as he is still undecided about which side he is on. But when they are surrounded by agents, Loki uses the TVA's Tempad to teleport himself and Sylvia to a planet where a moon is about to fall, and the TVA can't find them there. Loki and Sylvia learn that the Tempad has run out of energy, and they cannot teleport off the planet. They decide to temporarily declare a truce and go to the nearest town to recharge the Tempad. On the way there, the heroes tell each other about their past, and we learn that the TVA captured Sylvia as a child. They wanted to eliminate her, but the girl escaped and hid for many years in worlds where disasters will happen. The woman also tells Loki that all TVA agents are actually variant like them, who were kidnapped by the Timekeepers, had their memories erased, and were forced to work for the organization. Sylvia and Loki make it to the city, but the only remaining shuttle explodes before their eyes. Meanwhile, TVA tries to determine where the heroes teleported to and find any deviations in the timeline, but they fail. Sylvia and Loki realize that they will probably never escape and begin to share their feelings. They realize that they are very similar to each other, as they have always been lonely and had no real feelings for anyone. So they begin to have feelings for each other. This causes a temporal leap, with the help of which TVA finds them and takes heroes to their headquarters. Mobius interrogates Loki, who tells him that TVA is in fact deceiving everyone and that the workers are in fact variant. Mobius doesn't take the god of deception at his word, but still thinks about his words and goes to Renslayer. He tries to find out what happened to the agent who was hypnotized by Sylvia, but the judge informs him that she went crazy and had to be eliminated. The hero realizes that Renslayer is lying and steals her tempad, where he discovers a tape on which he finds proof that TVA is lying to everyone. Meanwhile, another agent, to whom Sylvia opened her eyes, helps the girl to escape, but she comes back to kill the Timekeepers. Mobius frees Loki, but Renslayer and his agents show up and wipe out Mobius. Loki and Sylvia are taken to the Timekeepers for the final trial, but the agent who helps Sylvia appears and frees the heroes. The female version of Loki tries to kill the Timekeepers, but it turns out that they are just robotic puppets. Loki tries to confess his love to Sylvia, but Renslayer attacks him from behind and wipes out the hero. However, Loki does not die, but finds himself in a world where he is met by other Loki variants and they offer to go with them. It turns out that everything that TVA erases, whether living or non-living objects, falls into the so-called void, which is somewhere at the end of the timeline. This is where all matter is subsequently devoured by Aliot, a huge, cloudy creature that is impossible to defeat. Since the Loki variants often violate the chronology of time in the void, they have accumulated a lot. Roughly speaking, the only living inhabitants of the void are different Loki from different timelines, between which there is a non-stop war. The protagonist convinces his saviors to go to Aliot and try to destroy him. Meanwhile, in TVA, Sylvia learns from Renslayer that Loki is not really dead, but has been sent to the void. The girl takes the tempad from the judge and goes after the god of deception. Having run into Alioth, the heroine is rescued by Mobius, who also got here, and together they find our Loki. With the help of Sylvia's ability, the heroes take control of the monster, and a portal to the castle opens before them, which floats in a place called the End of Time. Mobius realizes that whoever is behind all this is taking away people's free will and returns to TVA to talk to Renslayer. He wants to tell everyone at TVA that they have been deceived all this time. But the judge does not agree with this decision and goes somewhere in search of free will. Sylvia and Loki enter the castle and find there a man nicknamed He Who Remains. Let's call him Kang, since it's his comic name and it's actually easier. Since the villain has the ability to foresee everything and can teleport at any time, the heroes fail to defeat him and he tells them his story. In the 31st century, a scientist appeared on Earth who figured out how to interact with the multiverse and met his copies from other worlds. For a while, they shared information and evolved. But some Kangs decided to conquer the other worlds and a global war broke out. One of the Kang, wishing to end the war, finds a creature called Aliot who was capable of devouring timelines. After a while, there is only one sacred timeline left in which Kang is left, the one who remains. Soon he created the TVA, the purpose of which is to prevent the appearance of new timelines in which Kang may appear and the war will be repeated. The one who remains informs the heroes that he has lived so long that he is tired of it all. And also from now on he doesn't know what will happen next. So he offers them two options. The first is to kill him, as Sylvia wants, but then countless new Kangs will appear and a great war will happen. The second, the heroes become at the controls of TVA, but they will have to deal with taking away people's free will and erasing the wrong timelines. Loki tries to convince Sylvia not to kill Kang and even confesses his love to her. But the girl doesn't listen to the hero, kills the villain, which causes countless timelines to appear, after which Loki is sent to TVA. However, it turns out that this TVA is not the same where the heroes came from, and in this world the organization is run by Kang himself. I hope I haven't confused you. This is the end of the first season. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thanks for watching, goodbye.